All right, welcome back to the Make or Break Shop. This week we're working on dovetail drawers. So I'm working on this end table for the nursery. If it is done, you guys can check it right there. There will be a link eventually. But I wanted to do dovetails. This is my very first time ever giving it a shot, and I wanted to do half blind dovetails. So instead of these guys going all the way through and you'd actually see it coming out the front, you can only see them on the side, so you only see on half of it. So I'm using walnut and maple, and then once I have the two pieces I'm gonna be using, the first step is to mark everything out with a divider. All right, to start out, we're gonna go 8 30-seconds in from both sides. And then using like a compass or some dividers, we are going to measure this out. So it's gonna turn out something like this. We're going to use 3. So I'm gonna wanna walk this across 3 times. So I'm going to start at this line. The goal is as we walk it, when we go over, so this is 3 full ones, we want that overhang distance to be about twice what this is. All right, so about right there, you guys can see that this distance is about the same as this distance right here. Now we can go back and actually make our marks and get our layout lines. And then once we have these, we're gonna do the exact same thing, but from the opposite side. All right, in order to get the depth of all the dovetails we're gonna be cutting, I just placed the board that we're actually cutting. This is one that I did already. I'm just gonna place this on top, let it drop down, and then lock it into place. And so that is going to give me this depth. So then I'm just gonna mark these off on all sides. All right, so now I'm gonna be using this dovetail jig. This is actually the Cat's Moses dovetail jig. You have a tails portion, a pins portion, and then a 90-degree shoulder portion. So I'm gonna take the tail section, put it so it's facing up against, so the tails is right there, and then I'm gonna line it up with my line. And then, what's great is it actually has a magnet. I am using just a flush cut saw. I know this is definitely not the best way. I'm always gonna cut with the right hand, so I'm gonna start with this one, move my way down, then flip the board around and do the exact same thing. So I'm trying to leave the line intact, and I'm always cutting either to the left or the right. Towards the X is the side of the line that I'm gonna cut to. All right, now we are taking a coping saw and getting the waste out of the big sections. And then once we've got that out, we've got to clean it up, and we're going to use a chisel. So I'm not super great at this. I left a good bit of waste because I'm gonna try to go back real slow with the chisel and get it real tight. The big thing you wanna do is have these shoulders be super straight and super square, because that's really what's gonna show. So this line right there is the one that we wanna be really careful of as we're cutting it out. Now we're moving on to the pin section. I am using a hand plane to give me a square surface because I'm going to cut off the pins from the tails, marking those out really quick, and then I'm going to come back with a hand plane and establish that first line before I start knocking these whole things out. All right, so now that we've got these lines cut out, we are going to chisel this out. And the general process is, once we establish a line along the top, we're just gonna work our way down. All right, so now we are going to drive it home, and then we're gonna watch to see if it's catching on any parts, and then we can go back and clean that up. Nice part, since this is dark wood to light wood, is you can actually see when the walnut is hitting the maple, and so you can go back and change that. It's pretty good. All right, so one really easy trick, I've got a few gaps in here and actually drew this line a little bit too strong, is you can drop a little bit of glue. Same glue that I used to glue this whole thing up. Then go back with some sandpaper. Well, it's not doing that one as great, but it's starting to fill in these gaps. And some of those gaps start to get filled in pretty good. So it took me a little while to figure out how to get this thing to not stick as much in the actual drawer. And so I was planning the edges to make that work. All right, this is almost the last build of everything we're gonna be doing in the nursery. I've had several projects of the nursery builds. You guys can check those out right there. And if you like everything that's going on here, you can make sure and hit that subscribe button. Until next time, go make or break something in your shop. See you guys.